Yeah. Let's go. We just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah, I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Yeah. Oh yeah, the beast back. Adrenaline pumping through my veins. Can't relax. Original. I am not.
And welcome to this Thursday edition of Pucks Across Borders daily NHL betting preview show. It is good to be back. Look at us go back to back. Been a bit of a crazy couple weeks. I guess we did Monday to Friday last week, right? Like, we're figuring it out. We're getting there. Lots to talk about. 10 games. There might be one more than that. I don't remember how many I counted, but lots of games in the NHL tonight. Bless you, by the way. 5 games to quickly go over last night, and a couple other things, news and notes to touch on. Games start in an hour, so we won't take too much time. We'll just jump right in for the most part. But first, before we get into all of that, Andre, how we feeling on a Thursday, man? Good to see you.
It's good to see you. It's kind of crazy that it's Thursday. It doesn't feel like the weeks move that fast, but apparently it is. So, good day. Going well so far. Hope the same for everyone watching, listening, whatever.
Yep, absolutely. We appreciate that. Max Scherzer signed with the Blue Jays, which means that they're going to win the World Series now, which is super exciting. Been a while. So that's super thrilling. I did just see this on Twitter. And again, this isn't a baseball show, but Blue Jays rotation, this is from Keegan Matheson, covers the Jays for MLB.com. The Blue Jays rotation now leads with the veteran quartet of Kevin Gausman, Jose Barrios, Chris Bassett, and Max Scherzer. 48 seasons, 7,109 innings combined between the four of them. That's pretty impressive. But we can't hit, so it doesn't really matter. Moving on. One quick thing I did want to say, just real quickly, a bit of a sad and somber note in Canadian media. I'm sure the people watching, if you're from the States or what have you, are probably not familiar with this gentleman. But if you listen to TSN radio, especially in Ottawa, Sean Simpson passed away age of 56, I believe, 54, 56. I should know that. I apologize. Cause of death unclear, but he has been very vocal about struggling with mental health issues, and been very vocal about mental health and how serious that issue is. So once in a while, things like this happen, and it's just a reminder to love yourself and to give yourself grace, to give yourself a break, and to reach out for help, to talk to your friends, talk to your loved ones, see a therapist. There's no shame in any of that. You're worth it. So take the time to get the help that you need. Thoughts and prayers go out to his family and loved ones and everybody in the TSN family. I'm not a part of it, but you watch all these shows daily, you listen to these shows daily, and you feel like you're a part of the family, right? When you partake like this show, there's millions of people watching right now who just feel like they're part of our family, Andre. So just wanted to kind of put that out there. And we talk about sports every day. We talk about, fun things that take our mind off of real life. But every once in a while, these things happen, even within the sports world, that kind of bring you back down to earth, and just reminder to take care of yourself and to talk to somebody. So we love you. And thank you for watching, and take care of each other. So just want to say that real quickly. Last night in the NHL, 5 games. We will quickly touch on them all. as I pull it up here. Last night, the Minnesota Wild go into Toronto, beat the Maple Leafs 3-1. The Kings lose to the Panthers 3-0. The Panthers leapfrog the Maple Leafs in the standings with that win. The Devils jump all over the Flyers 5-0. The Canucks beat the Predators 3-1, and the Penguins beat Utah 3-2. We are a betting show, and we want everybody to watch the show, appreciate what we say, and go and make some money. But am I correct? Were we 0 for 5 last night, Andre? Is that even possible? I don't think we've ever been 0 for on a night, ever. There's nights we get, a couple more wrong than we do, right? That happens. But have we ever gone 0 for?
No, not even like a 1 game or 2 game show. That's never happened. And we were consensus pretty much on the board too. So that's what makes it rougher. There was no disagreement. We were both just locked in, like this is gonna happen. We got this. But we shake it off, We shake it off. Shout out to Taylor Swift. Can't wait to see you in the Super Bowl. We are going to be better today. We're not gonna miss a beat. We're gonna stay on our feet. We're gonna keep going.
Yeah. I wonder, is the NFL, I know that they love Taylor Swift being a part of football for eyeballs, and I don't know how much that's still a thing. It was definitely a thing before. Actually, it is still a thing, because I was watching the Eagles game with my sister the other day. We were at my brother's in Toronto, and the Bills and the Chiefs were on basically directly after, and I had to drive my sister from my brother's back to her place, and she didn't want to leave until she saw Taylor Swift. So I guess it is still a thing. I guess that's still real. But I was just thinking, would they rather her be on twice a month from the press box, or never and be able to play the Super Bowl halftime show? But then again, she's almost too big for the halftime show. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say Super Bowl halftime show is a phenomenal honor, but where she's currently at in her career, it feels like there's nothing in it for her. It does nothing for her. It's not a victory lap. It's not going to draw more eyeballs. It's just more Taylor Swift. And we get enough Taylor Swift as is. I'm not saying that as a hater. I'm just saying she just had the biggest concert ever in world history.
Yep.
She has a gajillion albums. She's about to re-record another one, probably release another one after that. I mean, there's enough Taylor Swift. Maybe in 10 years, she's slowing down. She comes back, celebrates her career, whatever. That makes more sense. But right now, it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call myself a Swiftie. That's probably overboard, but I do, as a musician myself, I enjoy her tunes. I got nothing wrong with Taylor Swift. I appreciate it. Kelsey, that haircut and he's looking more and more trailer park as the weeks go on. But hey, man, when you're that rich, I guess who cares? But anyway, so that's what happened in the NHL last night. Just an update going into tonight on the standings. Florida, Toronto own the number 1 and 2 spot in the Atlantic. Ottawa, 56 points. They play tonight. They're third. Boston, Tampa Bay, 56 points and 55 points respectively. They both play, and they're in those 2 wildcard spots. So currently 5 teams in the Atlantic, 1, 2, 3, of course, and then the 2 wildcard spots. Washington, 73 points. Carolina, 66. New Jersey, 64. And Columbus, Detroit, Montreal, Rangers, Philly, Islanders, all, and I guess we can throw Pittsburgh in there too, all within 5 points of the second wildcard spot. The only team not at all in the mix is the Buffalo Sabres, and the majority of those teams play tonight. So again, another really important night in the Eastern Conference. When it comes to the West, Winnipeg, Dallas, Minnesota, 1, 2, 3 in the Central. Edmonton, Vegas, Kings, 1, 2, 3 in the Pacific. Colorado, 60 points, their first wild card spot. And this is where it's so funny, man. Like the Kings have 58 points. And the Canucks, for all of the drama, all of the everything to do with the Vancouver Canucks, they have 56 points. So they can tie for third in the Atlantic. I don't believe they play tonight, but we'll get there. Calgary, 55 points. Utah, St. Louis, all 6 points back of a playoff spot. Before we get into it, Andre, is there anything that kind of piqued your interest from last night? Is there anything that you're going to be looking out for tonight?
I never want to think about last night again. I'm looking forward to a lot of things tonight, but I never want to think about last night again. So let's move on. At least when it comes to NHL, it wasn't just that bad in general.
What am I missing? What happened last night?
Exactly. That's the kind of mindset we need.
Okay. Fair enough. The one last thing that I will just an update. Miro Heiskanen came out today. He is week to week and will miss the Four Nations face-off. Seeing a specialist today, so that it may be better news, it may be worse news, but we'll find out more as the week goes on. And I think the one thing that I've really, really learned in covering the Dallas Stars, if I was asked, what's one thing that you've learned since covering this team, it's that Heiskanen, because of where he is located, because of where he plays, he might be one of the most underrated players in the National Hockey League. I don't think that guy's talked about enough, just how important he is. And everyone's talking about how big of a loss this is for Finland. And it's like, Finland, really? This isn't the Olympics. Like, Finland will be fine. They'll figure it out. His home club, I think, is a bit more upset about this than Finland is, but not to, trounce on the image of the Four Nations face-off. But all right, let's just get right into it, man. Puck drop is in about 50-ish minutes from now, so let's get into it. The Winnipeg Jets in Boston plus 134. Make sure this is correct. Plus 134 at home. Minus 162 are the Winnipeg Jets on the road. Minus 1.5 for the Jets is plus 156. Plus 1.5 for Boston. Minus 194. The over 5.5 minus 110. And the under is the same. Andre, how we feeling? Jets, Bruins in Boston on a Thursday night.
Yeah, so I remember the first time these teams met, and it was a disaster for the Boston Bruins. They lost 8-1. And it's really hard to lose that bad, on both ends of the ice. But they just recently did it. They lost 7-2 in Buffalo the last time they played. So that should tell you the state of the Bruins, who are at home and underdogs. Very firmly underdogs, which is something we haven't seen from this team in probably 15 years. They probably would never be like that. It's probably one outlier year I'm forgetting in the mid-2010s. But the point being, they don't belong. At least the team that we've seen this year, for the most part, doesn't really belong on the ice with the Jets. So I'm going to take that minus 1.5 right off the bat again. I think Winnipeg's just flat out better. They've had some bumps in the road, but not lately. They've won 4 in a row again. They won 4-1 in Montreal Tuesday night. A couple of 5-2 wins before that. They beat the Avs in OT before that. They're clicking. They're playing well again. For the most part, or for the majority of this season, Winnipeg has been, if not the best team in the league, second or third. And Boston, for the most part of this season, has been a coin flip as to whether or not they're even going to be competitive. I'm taking Winnipeg minus 1.5 here. And I feel like if you're going to take a team to win by multiple goals and the total's 5.5, you almost have to take the over. And considering Winnipeg scored 8 against this team a month ago, it's not really a bad decision.
Yeah. I'm right there with you, man. -1.5, Winnipeg Jets. I believe, if I saw this correctly, I believe that Corpusalo is starting tonight. Did I see that right? I think I did.
I will double check, but I believe I saw the same thing.
Yeah. And so, listen, I don't really like the way that they're defending regardless. Swayman's numbers are worse technically, but Corpusalo, he hasn't been looking so great lately either. Just the way, and like, listen, we've been hating on Boston, and the Boston Bruins in the NHL, for me, it's like the Dallas Cowboys in the NFL. Just that easy team to hate, and it is what it is. I will say, though, they're missing some of their best, like two of their best defensemen. I'm just double checking this because I'm pretty sure McAvoy is out, right? And Lindholm's been out. And so when you're missing those two guys, that's a huge part of your defensive core. So you can only kind of keep your head above water for so long. But the Jets, not only do they have probably one of the best just all-around defensive units in the NHL, not only do they have one of the best goaltenders on the planet, but this team is just scoring so much. So much. It's ridiculous. The other night, one of my favorite bets that I remember it. I said, I'm not doing this bet tonight. Did I? I think I did. Where I just said, I'm not doing this bet. I took the under, blah blah blah, against Montreal, and it ended up cashing for me. So I gotta, but not for me because I didn't take it. So we got to go back to it again. Kyle Connor 2+ points, +200. Mark Scheifele 2+ points, 265. They are neck and neck when it comes to goals. Anytime goal, Kyle Connor +140, Mark Scheifele +175. So I love those bets, and I love the Jets -1.5. All right, moving on to Tampa Bay, where the Lightning take on the Los Angeles Kings. -152 are the Tampa Bay Lightning at home. It's now actually -154. The Los Angeles Kings are +128. -1.5 is +172 for Tampa Bay. +1.5 for the Kings is -215. The over 5.5 at -120, and the under is -102. And I'm curious as to what you think about this, Andre, because I know Tampa Bay's at home, and I know that the Kings are on a back-to-back. Kings are the better team so far this season, and Tampa Bay can't really beat anybody here. I'm not saying that Tampa Bay shouldn't be favored, but -152 seems a little rich, no?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think they're just avoiding the easy money line play, though, which is very valid because a lot of people probably would have jumped on a -130, -135, whatever. Me being one of them, I know a loss to the Blackhawks is pretty much rock bottom for this Lightning team, especially since it was at home. But this should be a get-right game. The Kings, like you just said, playing second half of back-to-back, got shut out in Sunrise last night, third straight loss. Just looking at them overall, they've dropped 7 of their last 9. We talked about it yesterday a bit. Only one of those games did they score more than 2 goals. They're just getting nothing offensively. And for as solid as their defense and goaltending can be, if you live in your defensive zone, if you're not scoring, you're not going to win games. It's really simple. So Tampa, they're at home. They've been better at home all season, like you said. The Kings now 11-13-5 on the road. That includes a 4-game losing streak all this month, obviously. And I have no confidence in them right now. It's not as bad as last January, but they're just playing a very uninspiring, dull, ineffective brand of hockey. So I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm going to take the 60-minute line because shouldn't trust them that much either. I don't think they have a multi-goal win in them. And probably lean towards the under because both offenses are really struggling. And that's why neither team's really picking up points right now.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think what is what's going to cause me to disagree with you for the first time in like 6 picks that we've made is the fact that, I mean, both these teams aren't playing very well. 3-6-1 in the last 10 are the Kings, 4-5-1 in the last 10 are the Lightning. The one thing that I don't know, I haven't seen any update. If anybody else has, please put it in the chat, or Andre, let me know. But Andre Vasilevsky was a like last minute scratch last night. I think 30 minutes before the game scratched, and I don't see his name on any of the sports books. I haven't seen if he's starting tonight, and if that's the case, then that concerns me, just because he didn't play last night, and for him not to play again in a back-to-back, that kind of concerns me. And overall, just the way the Lightning have been playing, because they're not really just losing to these teams. Like, they got kind of dummied by the Blackhawks the other night. Like, that was kind of embarrassing. So if Vasilevsky's not in the net again tonight, then I'm even more kind of taking the Kings at plus 126.
I just gotta say, I love, we're forgetting about yesterday. I love that you're so committed to forgetting about yesterday. You ignored the Kings back-to-back and said it was the Lightning instead because they played on Tuesday. That's brilliant character work.
Thank you.
There were no games yesterday.
Yeah, I just care about you. You know what I mean?
I noticed the little things.
It wasn't a back-to-back for Tampa Bay, but I still don't like it.
Yeah, no, I got what you're saying. I really just screw Wednesday,
I need to get to the bottom of this. Did you see if Vasilevsky is playing tonight? Did you see?
The sports books don't have anything listed, which means nobody knows. Nobody in Florida, nobody in the Western Hemisphere, nobody knows where Andre Vasilevsky's, what he's doing, if he's playing. It's like Carmen Sandiego, but for goaltenders.
Or like Where's Waldo? Is that the book?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the total, for the same reason as I'm taking the Kings, I'm staying away from the total because I don't really know what to trust in this game. I do know David Riddick is in net tonight, which can be literally good or bad. It's just you never really know what you're getting with him as of late. I'm taking the Los Angeles Kings, though, at plus 126. Moving on to a really fun game. Washington is in Ottawa, and this is super, super curious to me. And I don't know, like, I've been on this show for the last couple weeks pumping up Ottawa's tires. I'm stoked on Ottawa. I'm glad they are where they're at. Very glad. The fact that Washington's not favorited here, I guess, really shows a lot of respect to Ottawa. Because if this was like 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, Washington would definitely be favored here. But even for it to be like straight up even money, it's just interesting to me. I don't know. I was expecting to see Ottawa plus money here at home, but that's not what we woke up to. And in fact, last night, Washington was like minus 105. And Ottawa was like minus 112, minus 115. So people are seeing the same thing that I'm seeing and starting to bet more on the Capitals. But I was pretty shocked to see that last night. Ottawa minus 110. The Capitals are the same. Minus 1.5 for Ottawa is plus 240. Plus 1.5 for the Capitals is minus 310. I don't think I've ever seen a plus 1.5 so high before, minus 310. The over 5.5 plus 112, and the under is minus 138. What do you got here, man? Washington, Ottawa, sneaky good game here tonight. Maybe the game of the night. There's a lot of good teams facing bad teams or mediocre teams tonight. And I don't know. This might be one of the better games of the night. What do you got?
No, this is a genuinely good matchup. And I will say, to Ottawa's credit, they've won their last two, and they've won 3-1 and 2-1. So stellar defense. Their loss the game before that was 2-0. So again, stellar defense. You go 2 games before that, loss in Boston. They were in Jersey and won 2-1. They're stopping everybody. They've won 3 in a row at home. The problem being their last loss was exactly 2 weeks ago when the Washington Capitals beat them 1-0 in overtime. They were favored in that game too. Or I shouldn't say 2. I guess it's even money, but they were favored in that game. And you look at what Washington's doing. They're tied for the most points in the league. They're allowing the fewest goals per game this season. I know Ottawa's 6th. That's really impressive. The Capitals have been even better. They have a stronger penalty kill. They have a stronger power play. They've just been a flat-out better team. The Capitals just consistently winning, too. You look at what they've been doing lately. A lot of road games, a lot of W's. They're playing really good hockey. This is one of those situations kind of like last year. Whenever you saw, like the Canucks or the Rangers or I guess it didn't happen to the Panthers, but like you saw a really good team and they were, even money or they were underdogs and it was on the road and it was kind of justifiable, but you just took it anyway. This to me is a no-brainer. The Capitals have been a better team all year. They do what Ottawa does better. They just shut out the Senators in this building. I do like that under 5.5. These teams are they've been so stellar defensively and in net, but I'm going to take the Capitals to win again.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. Once again, I'm taking Capitals here, minus 110. And I just wanted to throw this out. We talked about this at some point in December. I can't remember when, but we talked about this at some point in time over a month ago. Carolina, Edmonton, Florida, Dallas, top 4 on FanDuel in betting to win the Stanley Cup at plus 600, plus 650, plus 900, plus 950. Then you have the Devils, Avalanche, Maple Leafs, plus 1,100, plus 1,200, plus 1,300. Then you have Vegas, plus 1,400. And then you have the Washington Capitals, Winnipeg Jets, Tampa Bay Lightning, all at plus 1,700. And this conversation can be had about the Winnipeg Jets as well. I'm not intentionally leaving them out of this conversation. We can definitely have that conversation. But since we're just talking about the Washington Capitals, this Capitals team, they have been the exact same all year long. And for them to be behind the Devils, behind the Maple Leafs, behind the Stars, I know all those teams are good, but man, if you believe in this Capitals team, now's the time you can still get in on this price at plus 1,700. And we've had this conversation 1,000 times, Andre, like when it comes to the Eastern Conference, who can you say 100% if they played Washington, they would win? I don't think you can say anybody. I don't think there's anybody in the Eastern Conference right now, 7 games series, that you would bet your life savings that they would beat the Capitals. I think the Eastern Conference is just wide open. We don't know what Carolina looks like with the new Rantanen deal and adding Taylor Hall. We don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I think, Toronto has been really hot and cold over the last 2 months. Florida is just kind of, plodding their way into the playoffs. I don't know, man. I just feel like for that price, plus 1,700, now's a really good time to get in on this Washington team to win the Stanley Cup. Now, I do think the West is stronger, so to get there and to win it, still respectable, but they're two different things. But that's just my quick thought on that. I do like Washington to win this game as well. Did you pick a total because I think I'm leaning under on this one. Both of these teams have been pretty good at not allowing goals as of late, despite the goaltending woes for the Senators. And I do just want to double check this. Sorry. There's noise in my household. I am being distracted. Goalies. Yes. Lindgren is in net tonight, which might give me the slight second guess myself a little bit, but I am still going to take Washington. Lindgren's still a really good goaltender. I am going to take Washington on this one as well. All right, moving on. Chicago in Carolina, a very quick reunion for Taylor Hall. It's in Carolina, so there won't be any grandiose, video of the, 5 months that he's played for the Blackhawks or however long it has been. But the Carolina Hurricanes hosting the Blackhawks, minus 410 are the Hurricanes now. It was minus 385 like 40 minutes ago, and it is now minus 410. Plus 313 now are the Blackhawks. Minus 1.5 for Carolina is minus 144. Plus 1.5 for the Blackhawks, plus 118. The over 6.5 at plus 112, and the under is minus 140. Do I need to ask? I feel like we're seeing a butt kicking coming here, Andre. What do you got?
When these teams met like 10 days ago, the Kings were kind of struggling. They were on the road, and Chicago's been pretty tough on the road. They've been pesky. I think we both took Blackhawks plus 1.5, and it hit. But Carolina's a juggernaut at home. Carolina has new life. They've looked a lot sharper lately, coming off a 4-0 win in the Garden. They had beat Columbus 7-4 not long before that. Obviously, they got the reinforcements. Obviously, this is the Chicago Blackhawks, who, they're coming off a win. They played a really bad team. They had lost a ton before that, as you expect. I'm seeing minus 2.5 at plus 120. Ooh. That's not DraftKings. I had a bet on GM odds up, but I'm not afraid of minus 2.5 in this game. We try to stay away from those, generally speaking, but I think this is going to be a good old-fashioned butt whooping. So minus 2.5 for me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And one thing that I think it matters, but I don't always pay attention to it. Like sometimes, depending on how the team's playing in general, I'll kind of look past it. But the home and away trends, right? Like on the road, the Blackhawks are one of the worst teams in the NHL, only winning 6 games on the road all year long. And at home, the Carolina Hurricanes are one of the best teams in the NHL, winning 19 games, 19-5-1 at home. And so when you have a really, really good team that is really good at home and a bad team that's bad on the road, I just feel like that kind of lines up perfectly for, like you said, a good old-fashioned butt kicking. Moving on to Minnesota and Montreal. And I got to talk to you about this for a second, Andre, because I feel like a bad person. And I need you to vindicate me or confirm that I, in fact, am a bad person. Marc-Andre Fleury is playing tonight in Montreal for the Minnesota Wild, and it is going to be his last game in Montreal. The surefire Hall of Famer is expected to retire at the end of the season. I still don't know really why we're convinced of that. This guy just plays every single year, and he's actually pretty good still. So I don't know why we're all still just convinced that he's going to retire, despite what he has said. But anyway, there has been so much made about this. And I know I'm in Canada and Montreal, and maybe it's just up here, but there has been so much being made of Marc-Andre Fleury's final game in Montreal. And I know that he grew up an hour away from Montreal. I know that his friends and family will be there tonight, but he never played for the Canadians. I don't know. every time like I listen to the radio, they're making a big deal about this being his last night in Montreal. And I just don't understand. Like, I don't know, man. It's just bothering me. Like he never played for this team. I know that he grew up an hour away, but I don't know, man. I just can't explain it. It really bothers me. Do you think this is like a really like beautiful moment that I'm just completely ignoring? I don't know.
Nah, I don't get it either. When Derek Jeter went to Detroit for the final time, I didn't see the sky falling in a million articles about it. That was just the first example I could think of. When I inevitably go back to Casino de Montreal, I'm not going to get a standing ovation when I walk through the doors. So I don't know why Marc-Andre Fleury's. And I actually went there. I've been in there. Marc-Andre Fleury's never played for the Canadians. I don't know why he's being treated like a franchise legend. But I guess, Michael Jordan's number is retired by the Miami Heat. So nothing really matters. You can make up your rules as you want. And a guy who's good should be celebrated. I guess that's the way we should live. I'm not going to be a hater today. I'm going to be a nice person today. So good for you, Marc-Andre Fleury. I'm not convinced you're retiring, but you deserve to be celebrated.
And don't don't bring up Michael Jordan because you're gonna make me friggin' badmouth Marc-Andre Fleury, and that's not what I'm trying to do. I love Marc-Andre Fleury. The guy is one of the best personalities in the NHL. By all accounts, I've never met the man, but by all accounts, he's like the best dude ever. Love Marc-Andre Fleury. Terrific career. Won those Stanley Cups with Pittsburgh. First draft pick ever. I know it wasn't draft pick, but first like lottery pick, not lottery pick, expansion pick for, Vegas, brought them to a Stanley Cup final. Like, I'm about the Flower. The nickname bothers me, but I'm about the Flower. I love it. All right. But he's not Michael Jordan, bro. Like, Michael Jordan is like Michael Jordan getting retired in the rafters of any stadium. Like, it's Michael Jordan. Like, I don't know. Listen.
Wait, I got a good one. Did Joey Votto get like a ton of love last time he came to Toronto?
He's in the minors with Toronto. I don't think he's even been brought up. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking more when he was in France. I forgot he didn't.
You know what, man? That's not a great analogy. I'll tell you why. He did get a lot of love, and the reason why is because us as Canadians, we just feel so neglected. And when we see a Canadian, it's just like, oh, that's one of us. Yeah, you're from here too. So that's just how we operate up here, bro. We just claim whoever we can, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So we have our answer. I mean, you can look at the Raptors right now. RJ Barrett, and I guess SGA gets love when he goes there, and Jamal gets love when he goes. Yeah. You guys are a very unified, patriotic, celebratory bunch. I love that.
Oh, thank you, man. The Raptors are making me so mad right now, dude. Like, they keep winning. Like, what is good? What good is winning right now? Like, I don't understand what's going on here. And I'm at my father-in-law's while our new place gets ready, and he watches basketball every night. And I'm watching this Raptors team every night, being like, what? Like, why are you good right now? Like, anyway, that's another tangent for another day. Have we talked about this game yet? I don't think we have. Montreal Canadiens are minus 152. Minnesota Wild plus 126. I gotta say, last night I was awarded a $5 bonus Thursday click and get or something from FanDuel, a $5 bonus bet. And the Montreal Canadiens were minus 118. So I feel like a genius right now getting Montreal last night at minus 118, and they're now minus 152. Minnesota's plus 126. Those odds have flipped a little bit. Minus 142 for Montreal, plus 118 for Minnesota. Minus 1.5 for Montreal is plus 168. Plus 1.5 for the Wilds, minus 210. The over 6.5 is plus 100, and the under is minus 122. Where are you going at in this game tonight?
Yeah, I don't really like what I'm seeing Montreal lately. Lost 4-2 in Detroit, gave up 45 shots. Granted, they went to OT, but they lost to Jersey a couple days later. Gave up 44 shots in that one. And then obviously they played the Jets a couple of nights ago, lost 4-1. Didn't give up a ton of shots. Granted, good for them, but didn't earn any power plays. And obviously they were playing a really good team and just looked flat. I know the Wild are playing the second half of back-to-back. I know they're beat up, whatever. They just keep winning. They just keep defying the odds. They're 19-5-3 at home. 3-1 win yesterday, a 4-2 win the game before that. Power play goal in 3 straight games. And they shut out the Canadiens earlier this season, a 3-0 win. I'm going to take Minnesota here, plus money. I'm going to trust them.
Yeah, so, normally I don't like it when we disagree, but last night we agreeing did nothing for us. So I actually kind of like the vibes that are coming in here right now. I watched that game last night, Minnesota-Toronto. I didn't think any team really played well. I thought it was a pretty boring game overall. I didn't think Minnesota was that impressive. We talked about it yesterday, the injuries that they've been dealing with. Second night of a back-to-back in Montreal. And I really like the Canadiens here. Now, I liked them a lot last night at minus 118, minus 152. I'm not a fan of, and the puck line, I'm not really a fan of that either. The 60-minute line, I'm not really a fan of either, because just based off of memory, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me. Just based on memory, the Canadiens seem to go to overtime like once a week. So I'm not really big on the 60-minute line either. I do think it's a good, hard-fought, tight, low-scoring hockey game. Lots of unders these days, 5.5. Luckily for us, this one is 6.5, and it's minus 122. So that's my favorite bet in this game, hands down. I really like that one. Cole Caulfield, 4+ shots on goal for him, plus 130. This hit in the first period against Winnipeg the other night. Yeah, dude, like I just got a tweet from Sportsnet. Marc-Andre Fleury leads the Wild onto the ice for his final game in Montreal. It's like, oh my goodness. Everywhere I look. I love Fleury. I don't know why it bothers me. Whatever. Cole Caulfield, 4+ shots for him hit the other night in the first period. So I like that bet again tonight at plus 130. And I like him to score tonight as well at plus 140. Moving on to the New York Islanders in Philly. And bro, were we wrong about the Islanders? I refuse to admit defeat about this team, but they're winning a bunch right now, and they're scoring a bunch right now, and it's tripping me out. It's making me feel weird. Philadelphia, plus 120. At home, they're now plus 118 at home, and it's good to be home for them because they've had a tough stretch here. Minus 142 now are the New York Islanders. Minus 1.5 for New York, plus 176, plus 1.5 for the Flyers, minus 220. Over 5.5, minus 114, and the under is minus 106. What do you got here, Islanders, Philly? Because to be completely honest with you, I think I have nothing.
Yeah, once again, the third time Philly is facing the team in January. They beat they beat the Islanders 5-3, January 16th, and then the Islanders got them back 8 days later, 3-1 home win. Now they're in Philly, but the Flyers played last night. They got shut out last night. This is now 3 of their last 4 games where they did not score multiple goals. Things are kind of bleak, kind of rough. And then you have the Islanders, who suddenly they're not allowing anything. Mostly Sorokin. He's played in, I guess he didn't start the Carolina game, but he played in that game very briefly. But he's played in 4 of the past 5. In those 5 during this winning streak, the most goals they've allowed is 2. They played a really, really, really dangerous offense in Colorado. They played a really, really dangerous offense in Carolina. They played a really, really dangerous offense in Columbus. 2 goals allowed, 2 goals allowed, 1 goal allowed to Philly, 1 goal allowed to Columbus, and 1 goal allowed to San Jose. They're not letting anything through. It's working for them. I'm going to trust it. I'm going to take the Islanders here as the road favorites. I'm just going to take that money line, though. This is a team that loves overtime still. This is a team that's not, very trustworthy offensively. I think my favorite play from this game, though, is Islanders under 2.5 goals, which I have at minus 105.
Yeah. I guess I'm with you here. I'm staying away from this game. It's funny because in my brain, when I just think about the Flyers and I look at this game, my brain just thinks that they've been bad, but they've actually been decent, 10-3-1 over their last 10 games. And this Islanders 5-game winning streak, they're 8-2 in their last 10. So both these teams in the broader spectrum of 10 games have been pretty good. I'm staying away from this one. My gut's telling me Philly pulls this one out at plus 120, but I'm incredibly biased because you're a brave man, much bigger man than I am, taking the Islanders at minus 144 or minus 142 because I just can't get there with it. All right, Detroit is in Edmonton. And, I get these odds, but I also don't really. Edmonton, minus 265. Detroit, plus 215. I know the Oilers are a very, very, very good team and are a legitimate threat to win the Stanley Cup again this year. But Detroit hasn't been plus 215 bad. Like they've been pretty good lately. Minus 1.5 for the Oilers is minus 108. Plus 1.5 for the Red Wings is minus 112. Over 6.5 minus 112. Under is minus 108. And like we didn't talk about this, but that game the other night they had against the Kings, they were down 2-0 early, if memory serves correctly, and they came back and won that game really convincingly. And, you were kind of praising Detroit a couple weeks ago. And that game against like the Kings was really real. That game really spoke to me. Just being down, quickly down 2-0 against a really good team and finding a way not only to come back, but to win pretty decidedly. So just like right off the bat, knowing that Edmonton's a very good team, knowing the firepower that they have on the other side, I'm kind of automatically taking Detroit plus 1.5 here at minus 112. I just think, the Oilers have been in some pretty tight games in the last few weeks. I wouldn't be shocked if the Oilers win, but plus 1.5 at minus 112. I think that's my favorite bet for this game. What do you got?
I'm right there with you. I'll just keep it brief because I think you hit a lot of the points really well. Detroit, even when they had that little 3-game losing streak, they were still playing well. So they're back to winning again. They're putting pressure on. I know they're back on the road, which is where all those losses piled up, but they also beat the Panthers 5-2 during that trip. This is a team that's, they're clicking, and I know the Oilers are good. I know the Oilers are playing well, but I don't think they're playing well enough to put away this iteration of the Red Wings by multiple goals unless there's an empty netter or two in the waning seconds. So I'm also going to take that plus 1.5. It's really good value for a team that's playing really good hockey right now.
Yeah, and like I'll just say this, and we've been talking about this a lot, but Detroit, like to be plus 1.5, or sorry, for Detroit. This is like a really, really big game. And you can say what I'm about to say for all these teams, but Boston's playing a really good team. Tampa's playing a really good team. Montreal, we just talked about that game. I know Minnesota's on a back-to-back, but they're still a good team no matter how banged up they are. The Blue Jackets are playing against a really good team later in the night against Vegas. This is a really good opportunity for them to go up and grab 2 points. And I'd say that about any of these teams because the Red Wings are playing a really good team themselves in the Edmonton Oilers. So really big opportunity for all of these teams to go up and to grab 2 points. And for a team like Detroit, who's been kind of teetering on like being in the mix and not being in the mix and kind of going back and forth, this is a huge opportunity for them to go up and to grab 2 points against the Oilers. All right, 3 games left. Puck drop is in 15 minutes, so we will fly through these and get to our best bets. The Anaheim Ducks in Calgary, the Flames minus 192 at home, plus 158 are the Ducks on the road. Plus 1.5 for Anaheim's minus 162. Minus 1.5 for the Flames is plus 132. Over 5.5 is minus 132. Under is plus 108. Where are you at with this game, bro? Ducks, Flames. And honestly, this is a sneaky good game as well. Like the Ducks play good hockey games, no matter how mediocre they are. And I think this is actually a really good game. What do you got here?
Yeah, the Ducks tend to be an entertaining watch, even though the record suggests otherwise. I will say, though, the Flames need to get back on track. They need to win. They're at home where they've been so much better all season long. It's been a real safe haven for them. And I know the Ducks are coming off a 6-4 win in Seattle. But you look at what they did on the road before that, you're talking 0-3 loss in Florida, another loss to the Lightning, where they gave up 4 goals, 3-0 loss in D.C., random win over Carolina on that road trip. Because the game before that, they got shut out 6-0 in Philly. 2 days before that, they got beat 6-2 in St. Louis. You go a little bit further, they lost to Edmonton at the beginning of the month on the road. This is a team that hasn't really traveled well. Obviously, this is a team with just the record doesn't match sometimes how they play, for better or worse. All of that's to say, I don't think they have another 5+ goal performance in them. I don't think Calgary. I know Calgary's not that team at home where they're going to give up that many chances. And I think that the Flames have enough where they can beat this Ducks team again. And I think they can do it by multiple goals this time. So I'm going to take that puck line for Calgary. Yeah,
I'm right there with you. Minus 1.5 plus 132. And again, we say this every day, but the 5.5 bothers me. That this is anyway. 5.5 under. I think it's my favorite bet in this game. It concerns me because it's 5.5. That's like a classic minus 3.5 in the NFL, right? Just that hook can just get you so many different ways. But I do like the under in this game at plus 108. Moving on, Columbus in Vegas, minus 285 are the Golden Knights at home. Plus 230 are the Blue Jackets on the road. Plus 1.5 is minus 110 for the Blue Jackets. Minus 1.5 is minus 110 for the Golden Knights. Over 6.5 plus 104. Under is minus 128. Covering the Stars, I've watched the Golden Knights twice in the last 5-6 days, whatever it is. Very good hockey team, not bringing their best right now. That's just kind of a fact. The Blue Jackets, really feisty team. Not that the Blue Jackets are some, juggernaut team by any means. We've talked about the Blue Jackets plenty. 7-14-4 on the road. You have talked about this a lot, just how they're not good on the road. They're a completely different team on the road. Not only are they on the road, but they're in the West Coast with the Pacific time and all that kind of stuff. That being said, 7-2-1 in their last last 10 games. Vegas is 3-5-2 in their last. I really like the plus 1.5 here for Columbus. I'm not saying they're going to win, but plus 1.5 at minus 110. I love that bet tonight. And I can be talked into a money line. I haven't got there yet myself. I can be talked into it, but I'm definitely taking plus 1.5 for the Blue Jackets at minus 110. What do you got?
Yeah, we're going to disagree again. 7-2-1 in their last 10, 100% correct. But you look at those 3 losses, they were all in their last 5 games. Look, those 3 losses, they were all on the road. They lost by 3 in Carolina. They lost by 2 in Long Island. Then they needed 65 minutes and a shootout to still get shut out in the Garden. They're just not playing complimentary hockey or bringing it on the road, besides the fact that they beat your boys. But according to you, that always happens. It's like a weird Sharks-Red Wings relationship.
Yeah, classic.
Just kind of your
classic.
Yeah, so I get what you're saying, and I am concerned with how Vegas is playing right now, but they did beat the Panthers 4-1 right before that Stars game. They have scored at least 3 goals in 6 straight games now. I'm going to trust Vegas to bounce back in a big way at home. I'm going to take that puck line.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Like I said, man, I like it when we agree, but yesterday was so jarring to me that it's good. It's good to, switch it up. We also we need a producer to keep count of every single side that we're on all year long. And like Team Mark or Team Andre, when they disagree, the viewers can be like, well, this guy is way better than this guy. And we all know that's probably you, but we all, you never know. There's no numbers, so there's no proof. The San Jose Shark, what's that?
We need John.
We do need John. Do we need John? Yeah, we need John. Miss you, John, wherever you may be. San Jose Sharks plus 162 on the road in Seattle, minus 194. Minus 1.5 for the Kraken is plus 134. Plus 1.5 for the Sharks is minus 164. Over 6.5 plus 108. The under is minus 130. To be perfectly blunt, I got nothing on this game. I think if I have to make a pick, I'll take the plus money and sweat it out. Take the Sharks on the money line, sweat it out. But I got nothing on this game, man. Both these two teams, I don't know, bro. I'm degenerate, but you'll have to find somebody more degenerate than me to give you a guaranteed pick for this game tonight. What do you got?
I like the over 5.5.
That's fair.
I have it at plus money right
that's
now.
Fair.
Except it's not 5.5, it's 6.5. So that's probably why. And I don't like it as much anymore. So we're going to scratch that. We're going to start over. I'm right there with you. I like the Sharks. They beat them back-to-back nights in November, 8-5 and then 4-2. They're coming off a win against Pittsburgh. I know San Jose hasn't been as sharp on the road lately, but there's no reason to have faith in Seattle. They've fallen off a cliff. Yeah. They're maddeningly inconsistent. You don't know what you don't know what you're gonna get from them every single night, which makes them hard to pick, but very hard to trust. In San Jose, if they have life, we've seen how they fight and make your life difficult. So I'm gonna take the Sharks right there with you. I do have the over at 6 and or 6.5, and I'm going to take the over still, but it's not 5.5 with plus money. My eyes deceived me. Don't fall for that.
Yeah, 6.5 plus 108. I don't hate it, but like you said, man, you can't trust these two teams. And Seattle is right there with them. All right, moving on to our best bets. Brought to you by First Round Collectibles right now with our promo code Sports Addict at 10% off whatever sports card you want in the entire First Round Collectibles store. Go to First Round Collectibles, use promo code Sports Addict, 10% off your order. They have an ongoing sale. So not only do you get 10% off of regular priced items, but sales items as well. So do yourself a favor. Go to firstroundcollectibles.com today. Use promo code Sports Addict for 10% off your order. We're also brought to you by our good friends at Total Apex Sports. Appreciate you having us on. All the football content leading up to the Super Bowl. They got lots of great stuff going on over there for that. Basketball, lots of great stuff over there for that. Baseball, signings heating up. Lots of good stuff over there for that. So check out totalapexsports.com. And thank you for having us on board live on X. Best bet. John, John? Oh my gosh. You got me. Sorry, man. My apologies. You got me thinking about John. I miss him now. That's all I just see his face, and that's all I can think about. Andre, what do you got, bro? Best bet.
Flyers under 2.5 goals. Like I laid it out, they're just not scoring right now. Obviously just got shut out yesterday. It's the second half of a back-to-back for them. Really tough spot to be in, and they're facing an Islanders team that's held 5 straight teams to 2 or fewer goals. That includes 3 top 10 scoring offenses, if my memory serves correct. Carolina, Columbus, and Colorado. So it's going to be an uphill battle for the Flyers. They only scored 1 in this against the Islanders when they played them last week, and I don't see more than 1 or 2 tonight. So give me under 2.5 for Philly.
There's 2 bets that I feel like are perfect for us when it comes to my bet and the family play. So I'll just pick one of them because we did disagree a lot tonight. So, but you know what though? It's okay for me to pick my best bet if you don't agree with it. And it's just one of those things we just got to kind of sweat it out. But I won't make us do that tonight. The Washington Capitals minus 106 on the road in Ottawa. We talked about that earlier in the show. I love that bet. Give me Washington in Ottawa at minus 106. It was minus 110 when we talked about it. So it's going back to the way that I found it last night. Again, minus 106 for Washington. The other one that we agreed on that I can remember is Winnipeg minus 1.5. How do you feel?
I'm right there with that. I'm all for that.
So Philly,
Boston Sox.
Yeah, Philly under 2.5, Washington money line, Jets minus 1.5, plus 875.
Ooh, I got you by count today. I'm at plus 929. I have under 2.5, minus 105. I have Capitals minus 105. I have Jets puck line plus 170. So yeah, plus 929.
Good for you. Good for you. I'm proud of you. You're sticking with it, man. Good for you. Good for you. All right.
Year, man.
Sorry?
It's a new year.
Yeah, new year, man. New year, new you, new DK, new everything. It is 7:07. Puck drops in 2 minutes, so get those bets in. Good luck on your parlay, and let's get after it tonight. Huge night, man. I just can't get over how, like, I don't know. Like I know last year we went through this towards the end of the season, but I don't recall going through this. I know it's the end of January now, but I just don't recall going through this in January like we're going through it with the Eastern Conference right now. Tampa in the first wild card, or sorry, Boston first wild card spot, 56 points. Tampa Bay 55. Columbus, Detroit, Montreal, Rangers, Philly, Islanders, Pittsburgh, all within 5 points of that last wild card spot, and all but 2 of those teams are playing tonight. So just absolute chaos in the East. Be really fun. Tomorrow night, let me just double check. Tomorrow night, 1, 2, 3, 4 games in the NHL. Tomorrow we'll be back to talk about whatever happens tonight and to talk about what happens tomorrow. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. As always, we appreciate you. If you're watching on our YouTube, just go ahead and like and subscribe and whatever else it is they tell you to do with these YouTube podcastingies. And on Total Apex Sports, thank you for watching us over there. Head on over to our YouTube, like and subscribe. If you're on our YouTube, head over to Total Apex Media, like and subscribe there as well. First round collectibles, 10% off promo code Sports Addict. We'll see you tomorrow.